Hi guys, it's Crust with City Your Homestead, and now time for another home canned meal. So remember I told you guys I would try to make something from scratch or whatever so that you can see you can actually do all this at home as well, because there's a lot of people that don't can. So we're going to start out by making a pie crust. There's been quite a few of you that have actually seen me do it, but there's some that haven't. So let's show the people that haven't how we do this. Got my little KitchenAid blender here, and we're going to add 2.5 cups of flour. 1, 2 and a half. That's looking pretty simple, huh? Now we're going to use a cup of cold butter. You can freeze it, the butter, that's even better. So I'm just going to put that in, and I just chopped it up into little chunks. And then what we're going to do is just pulse this for a minute so that all gets blended together. Alright, so now we need 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to pour it right there in the top. So there's 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. And then we're going to use a tablespoon of sugar. And then we're just going to pulse that a little bit more so that gets mixed in. Now here's where the magic happens. I've got ice water over here. It's got ice in it. And I got this from Little Village Homestead with Renee. So it's definitely a great recipe. Now we're going to put it on so it's not pulsing anymore. We're going to add 6 tablespoons of cold water. And I always put 1 extra in there because some of that water gets sour. Alrighty. Easy as 1, 2, 3, huh? Very, very easy. So we're going to take that lid off. And we're going to put that crust right here on the counter. Now she says to chill it for about an hour or 2. I've never done that. But, so while I get everything else ready, I'm just going to throw this in the fridge for just a couple minutes. I'm going to put it in a bowl. You don't have to knead it, anything like that. So let me put this in the fridge, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now while the crust is chilling, I've got a can of my home canned beef stew. And it doesn't need to be heated up, but I am going to heat it up a little bit because me and Tom were talking and it doesn't have corn in it, so we want to add corn to it. So that's my own home canned corn. Look at that. Now, obviously, if you don't can, you can buy cans of beef stew at the store. Alright, so we're going to heat that up just a little bit. And then I will be back and we'll go to the next step. So as I'm looking at it, I decided I'm going to add some of my canned green beans to it too. But before I do that, because I know what you guys are going to say something, thicken that broth. I can hear it already. So I'm going to make a little bit of a slurry, whatever it's called. And we're going to thicken that broth up a little bit. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more flour to that, because I think I had too much water. You guys know how I am about gravy, so it's not my greatest accomplishments, that's for sure. Because normally, you know what I would do is I'd drain that liquid out. And then I'm going to pour those green beans in there. I just thought, why not? Alrighty. We're going to let this thicken up a little bit, but let me show you how it looks right now. Hopefully it'll all fit in my pie. Look at that. Pretty, huh? Alright, I'm going to let that cook for a minute. See if it thickens up enough, and then I'll be right back. I did have to add a little bit more of a slurry, but look how nice and thick that is now. Isn't that beautiful? And my knob here is sticking. I don't know what's going on. So I did want to add just a little bit of salt and pepper, because I don't put a lot of that in my canned food. Alrighty, let's get that stirred in there. Yeah, that looks much nicer. Hopefully I don't have too much filling by adding that other stuff. But if we do, I'm sure Jack loves stew. I'm sure he'll eat it. Alright, so now we're going to make the crust. And mind you, I'm not a good roller outer either. I'm learning, but just not real good at it. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of flour out here on my pad. Spread that out. I'm going to get it in a good circle. Put a little bit of flour on both sides. And I'm going to use my metal one today. This actually was my grandma's. I used to have a wood one of hers too, and the handle broke off of it, so I couldn't use it anymore. That was very, very sad. You know, you get something that reminds you of someone that you love very much, and if it breaks, it kind of like, ugh. So that's why I don't use it very often. And I'm going to say like Renee does, my pies might not be pretty, but they're pretty tasty. So, Let's roll that up a little bit. Get our pie pan over here. Whoops, I ripped it already. Look at that. All right, we're gonna put in that pan. That's okay if it's a little bit ripped. We can always pinch it back together. Alrighty. So now we're gonna spoon that filling in there. I probably don't need that one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm sure if you buy, you know, canned at the store, it's going to taste, well, it's going to taste good. Now I can get it all in there. I hope you guys are liking the home canned week. And I will be carrying it until next week. Look at that. What do you think about that? Pretty, huh? The crust isn't very pretty, but that's okay. I guarantee it's all still edible. My grandma, she always made the perfect pie. Always. It was so pretty. Her crust was pretty. The filling was great. If you guys have ever heard of a place called Truffin, she used to bake pies for them on Thursdays. And people would come from all over to get her pies. She did really good. And I had her pie crust recipe at one point, and it was handwritten, and somehow it got lost. I know Renee says to cool this down, but I actually think it rolls out better when it's fresh out of the thing. But to each their own, you know. I mean, what I find easier, she may find harder. Or vice versa. I should do like my grandma showed me to do. Roll it up. Let's bring this back over here and roll it over top. I know probably a lot of you were saying, you should have done that the first time, Chris. And I should have. Now what I do is I tuck and press. This side's going to have way too much, so I'm going to cut some of that off of there. Just pull it off like that. Then I kind of just press it in. I told you it may not be pretty, but it will be tasty. Tom and Courtney are late. They're stuck in something. They don't even know what it is yet. So they're going to have to go pick up the kids before Tom can even head home. So he might be having cold dinner. I'm kidding. I'll heat it up for him. And I have flour all over myself. Then I'm just going to take my fork and kind of just pinch it down. That way it kind of does look like a pot pie, doesn't it? Alright, hold on one second here. Then, to vent it, I'm going to cut a little heart out the center. Just like that. And then give it a couple pokes. Now, anytime I make a pie with liquid stuff in it, I always set it on top of a baking pan so that if it does overflow, it's not all over inside my oven. So we're going to let that bake. I'm not sure how long it'll take, but until the pie crust is done. Alright, so Tom should be here any minute. Her mom went and picked up the kids and they met at the park and ride, so he's not too far behind, but he's usually home around 4:30 and it's after 5 already. But that's okay. It just came out of the oven, so it'll be nice and piping hot. There it is. Look at that. And we're going to have some home canned peaches. So I'm going to get everything put on the table and we'll get it served up. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
You look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I feel like one still.
He's got ice in his shirt. So there's dinner. Beef pot pie. It didn't come out very pretty when I took it out. And homemade canned peaches. What do you think?
This is good. This is real
What do
good.
you think, Jack?
Very good.
You gonna try some of the peaches since you helped can them?
Mm-hmm. Well, those are good peaches.
Of course, because you helped can them, right? So good home canned dinner? Good home canned dinner?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I hope you guys are enjoying this week because I'm enjoying coming up with ideas. So you guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing. And bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Jack.
Bye.
You guys have a great night.